Well, hello everybody, this is DJ Glowing Ice, and this video is going to be bussin', no cap, for real, for real. What did I even say there? For those of you who don't know, and you thought I was just saying some weird, wacky stuff that makes no sense, it actually does make sense. To the youngest generation out there that is making moves, and they're online, and you might have seen this on posts and videos or whatever, you're going to wonder what all this new slang is. Like, okay, you may be remembering groovy. Okay, yeah, that's a slang term. Cool. For those of you in the 90s, da bomb. Now, there is a huge onslaught of new stuff out there that the Zoomers have created. So let me help you out. This is the guide to Zoomer sayings. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Zoomer is, it's a slang term for the generation after the millennials, which I'm a millennial. Before that is the Gen Xers, and before that is the Boomers, and then before that, which would be like my grandma's section, would be the silent generation. Beyond that, I don't know. It's cowboys, you know. The Z in Zoomer comes from Generation Z, and Zoomer is a play on words of boomer. All right, got that? All right, now we can move on with our lives. Now, before we get into the sayings and slang, one thing that I've noticed about Generation Z Zoomer boys, dudes, they tend to get a haircut that makes them look like Rihanna from the 2010s or the boyfriend from Roseanne back in the 90s, the Roseanne show. I don't know, over the past couple of years, I've heard people using these words, or they've been whatever, online or in real life, and I'm like, well, that's new. I haven't, you know, so I just Google it and be like, oh, okay, well, that's what that means. I guess it makes sense. But here's the deal. Like, every generation has their own set of slang. And to look at the newest generation and their slang and say, that is stupid. My slang actually made sense, but nowadays, this is dumb. Like, that's the same thing that the generation before you said about the slang you were using. So they're basically, the new generation is just following whatever we did and prior generations. It is nothing new. It is the same old, just things have morphed a little bit, and that's just what it is. We all have our own opinions on what we like and what we don't like. This is just the way it is. So deal with it. So for the non-Zoomer generation out there that's watching this video, there's a little disclaimer, even for myself here. After this video, you may understand these words, the slang and all that, but I would say that you probably shouldn't be using these terms, even if you understand them, because it would be cringe for me to go and unironically say that, hey, dude, that Lizzo album is straight bussin', no cap, for real, for real. I would make myself run to a trash can and go, oh! Everybody ages, everybody gets older. It's a thing of life. Anything that is trending now will pass and be stale, and then 20 years later, it's going to come back. It's just the way life is. That's the cycle. Get used to it. Let's move on now. All right, so here we are, your guide to Zoomer slang. And the first word up is cringe, which is something that is embarrassing or awkward. So for instance, you could say, yo man, that dude's rap song about his girlfriend was straight cringe. Ooh. The next word is bussin'. It's a very big word, very hype word right now. And it just means that it's something that's really good. Like, for instance, you could come back after going on vacation with your grandma and be like, hey, yo, I stopped by Abraham Lincoln's old childhood home. That was straight bussin', dude. Next word is cap. And the word cap comes from a cap in your tooth, which means like it's a fake tooth. So fake means lie. So that's where all that came from. So putting it into a sentence, you would want to say something like, girl, you really liked that song? That song was straight trash. Like, you have to be capping. And then we get to the term no cap, which is the opposite of cap, means no lie. So to put it into a sentence, it'd be like, hey, Crystal Pepsi was straight bussin'. No cap, for real, for real. Next is drip, and drip means like it's the latest trend. It's the hottest thing right now at the moment. So you could say something like, hey, yo, man, Those fresh New Balance shoes, man, he's got that new drip, y'all. No cap, for real, that drip is bussin'. Next is bet. And bet is actually a very, very old term I used as a kid in the 90s. But I think it's just, what's old is new, like I've said before. Generations recycle some things from the past, and that's just the way it is with the word bet. And bet basically means you're in agreement with somebody. So say you're on a phone call with somebody, and you'd be like, hey, man, are we going to go to that really cool Lindsey Sterling concert? Yeah, man. All right, I'll see you at 8. And then you could say, bet. That's just all. That's it. Yeah. Next is the phrase low key, which low key means it's being modest, humble, very reserved. So in a sentence, you could say something like, Industrial Industries World Radio's YouTube channel is low key amazing. I mean, not to brag or anything. I'm just, setting an example. That's all I'm saying. The next word is the word fam. And fam has been a word that I've been using for over a decade now, it seems. I've been using it as more of a joke, but it's become more widespread through everywhere. Everybody's been using it now, I've noticed. But the shortened term fam can be used towards family, friends, loved ones, anybody that's close to you. So to use it in a sentence, just think of any woman between the ages of, their mid-20s all the way up to mid-50s. That 30-year age range right there. A lot of them have adopted the word fam. You see them mostly on internet posts, and they'll be like, hey, fam, look at this cool coffee table with really old wood. It looks so rustic. I want my whole house to look like a farmhouse, even though I've never lived on a farm. And yeah, this cool thing only costs $300. It's brand new, but it looks like it's something that I could buy for $50 at a yard sale. But I wouldn't want stuff at a yard sale. Ew. Oh my God, guys, this will look so good in the room with the sliding barn door. Ah. All right, next word is fire. And fire is just another slang for the term hot. So think of like the 2000s when Paris Hilton would say that's hot. If she was a Zoomer, she would be saying that's fire. And some people say, oh, that's straight flames or flame emoji sometimes. Next up is finna. And I've used finna. I used finna in the 90s. So this is an old term that has been made new once again. And it has the same meaning as it did back then. It just means I'm going to, or I'm preparing to do something. So finna is actually just an evolution or a morphing of the word gonna, which gonna means going to. So it's all the same. So finna, like I finna drive to my girl's house, pick her up, and then we're going to go to KFC to get a 10-piece bucket for $15.99. Yeah, it's a ripoff, but it's her birthday, so it's worth it. The next word is dead, meaning really funny. So think of someone laughing so much that they died. That's the whole meaning behind it. So for an example, if my dog is sitting next to me and he farts too loud, I would say, I'm dead, because it's funny. Next is glow up, which you see online. There's like videos of glow up challenges. Oh, look how ugly I was. Now look how hot I am with a lot of makeup. So that's what that means. It's the ugly duckling story from back in the day. So next is a word from the 90s as well that has made a comeback called salty. And salty just means that a person is upset or they are jealous. And where did this word come from? Well, when someone is jealous or they're upset, they're crying. Tears are salty. That's at least what I gathered from it all, even back then in the day. So to put it in a sentence, I would say something like, yeah, she was really salty when she saw me with that other lady. Next is ghost or ghosting, which means you're ignoring the person that you were starting to date or were dating or have been married to for 30 years, and then all of a sudden you just don't want to talk to them anymore. So it means ignoring somebody. You're dating somebody and the other person thinks things are going very well, but you just all of a sudden cut communication altogether. and they text you, they leave messages and whatever, and please just pick up. And you still don't call back, you don't do anything. You're ghosting that person. That's what that means. You're a ghost to them now. The next term that goes with ghosting is the term left on red. And this is basically exclusively to texting messages and that kind of thing, where the other person you're sending the message to reads it and you see that they read it and they never respond back. So they left you on red. That's what that means. Simple as that. The next term is called simp. And this is when someone goes incredibly above and beyond what they should be doing for someone that they're attracted to. So for example, in a sentence, I could say something like, I've only known her for 8 months and let her move in with her 2 kids, and it's got me feeling like a simp. The next term is slaps. And slaps means something that is really good. So you could be like, hey man, this McDonald's triple cheeseburger really slaps. Next is sus. And sus is short for suspicious or suspect, that kind of thing. So you could be like, oh, dude, you're 40 years old and you're using the term sus unironically. That seems a little sus, but okay, go ahead. Next is the term bop. And bop just means a very great song, a good song. So for instance, the song Bump in the Night by Kinda Yellow is a bop. The next term is extra, and extra means that someone is overacting something more than they need to be. So for instance, this guy came into the office after having some Starbucks, and everybody asked him what his weekend was like, and instead of him just communicating verbally by talking, he started singing and dancing, talking about his weekend, as he spun around and twirled like a ballerina. Next term is clap back. And this means somebody that is responding to a criticism that was said to them. So for instance, I could say something like, I waited for her to stop screaming and yelling at me for me to clap back. Now we get to the last term, which is GOAT. And GOAT means the greatest of all time. So you just take the first letter of every word in the term greatest of all time, and it spells out GOAT. So for instance, if you are talking about Star Wars movies, I would say, hey, the greatest of all time, the GOAT of all Star Wars movies would be The Empire Strikes Back. All right, so there you go. I think I've covered a majority of things, or at least as much as I could handle for now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this video bussin' and fire. No cap, for real, for real. Don't ghost me. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. And if you want to comment, I won't ghost you. I am DJ Glowing Ice saying, peace out, fam.